Both of you, please
Yeah,
welcome to the
thank
class. So, Uma
So we are
Mataji,
full of grief now, losing our son.
I understand that Uma Mataji spoken to me in the afternoon. She explained to me
Right.
her grievance, and I can completely understand your grievance and situation. But the thing is that we need to understand we're discussing the same point actually a few minutes ago in Hindi also. We are talking about Bhagavad Gita, so we can discuss on that point. I know that you're in a great grief. I understand your situation. And Uma Mataji has explained to me that how she is feeling. In the afternoon, we had a brief conversation.
Yeah. She
I can
told me, we don't know what mistake we have done.
It is not a mistake. First of all, thinking that I have done some mistake. That's the reason I'm going through this process. Is the thought process itself is not really right process. The thing is, first of all, one thing we need to understand is the mrityu matlab, the death jo hai, that only happens to this body. We means actually we are not this body, we are spirit soul. Nahanyate hanyamane sharire. Bhagavad Gita mein Bhagavan Sri Krishna, he says about it. He says that the death happens to this body, but not the soul. Soul is eternal. It doesn't change. See, right now, the soul that it is appeared as your son is a son for a period of time for you both. But actually, he is a son to the Krishna eternally. Because spirit soul never dies. It never burn and never die. Nahanyate hanyamane sharire. Whatever is we are losing, actually, we think that we lost. That's only the body that we are lost. The body that body is always it's not actually have a life. Body is always.
But how do we get to see him again?
That is a good point. How to get to see him again, right?
Yes.
You can see him, because we all are the living entities. Mamevamshe jivaluke jivabhuta sanatana. Krishna batate hai ki, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, we are all emanating from Krishna. We are all children of Krishna. Your son, yourself, your wife, myself, and all living entities are the children of Krishna. So if you wanted to see so-called particular living entity, now this particular person is your son. You had millions of sons in previous lives. And your son has a millions and trillions of fathers in his cycle of birth and death. When you understand that, this is not a permanent situation, that everybody of us to go through the process of living this body. The death means what exactly is, we as a living entity getting out of this body. As
No,
soon as
I understand. I understand. Everybody has to go through this process.
Yeah.
But at an young age, 38,
see,
and that too an unnatural death.
See,
that is what is giving us most.
Absolutely. I can completely understand your grief. So it is a natural that we'll have a affection towards our family members and children, and suddenly that person is disappeared, and as you mentioned that it is unnaturally is disappeared. So obviously we have that grief, which is understandable, completely understandable. But the only thing that we need to understand much more higher than that, so that we get a solace out of it. It's not that anybody, whoever is living the body, your son, for instance, is out of our vision. Really speaking, that we never seen your son. Your son is a spirit soul. What we see him is as a body, right? And that body is perished. That body is perished, but he is not perished. If you really wanted to see him, you need to develop that vision. Now, when you are in a material body with a material eyes, you can see him. But when he doesn't have the material body, as a spirit soul, he exists eternally. For us to see that, existence of the spirit soul, which is eternal in nature, we need to develop the vision of spirituality. If you develop the spiritual eyes, we can see the all spirit souls, including the Supreme Lord himself. If you wanted to see your son, it is possible. If we develop our spiritual consciousness, our spiritual eyes, we need to develop.
Yeah,
Bhagavad Gita,
I understand, Swamiji. Sorry to interrupt you. Umaji would have told you in the morning. We had a daughter-in-law who was not very, affectionate towards us. So we kept a distance from her so that they can be happy. But we never thought it will lead to this.
Yeah, I'm really sorry to hear that your situation. I really felt bad that the Uma Mataji was crying over the phone, but really we need to gain the strength by understanding Bhagavad Gita. See, a real friend of ours, everybody's friend is really Krishna. It may be very difficult for you to right now to comprehend it and absorb it, which is completely understandable. Current situation is concerned. We all go through that, but it's a very a big shock for any living entity who is any individual who is going through normal life and suddenly these kind of things happens. It's very difficult to comprehend and absorb it. By reading Bhagavad Gita and understanding our real situation, who is our real friend and what exactly happening after we encounter the death, the so-called death, that's a departure from this body, what happens to that particular living entity, that spirit soul, for instance, in this case, your son, understanding that actually it gives us a solace and gives us hope back in the sense that not really lost anything that as we presume to be lost. I mean, but I'm not saying that you don't have any loss at all. Definitely, the current situation is concerned. We have developed a lot of affection towards our children, family members, and etc. And suddenly, especially with the children, the bondage between the parents and children is very strong. And that bondage, especially the parents, the children sometimes forget about the parents, but the parents can never forget children. That's the exact situation that Krishna, we're all the children of Krishna. We may forget Krishna, but Krishna never forgets us. So as a father, he always thinks of our betterment. Right now we may think that how is it better for me? My son is gone, so how is it good for me? That is what Bhagavad Gita explains actually what is good, what is bad, and what is actually our perspective of understanding of a good and what is a real good, and who is a real father and who is a real son, and etc. But that's being said, in the current situation of yours and your current
Yeah.
grief, I completely understand. It's a very sad thing that it has happened. Probably, as you mentioned, that you just left alone so that they can curtail their differences and move forward in their life. But sometimes it so happens.
Yes.
Very sad.
Swamiji, other problem is our daughter-in-law is even now not realized what mistake she have done in her life, which has caused our son-laws and our husband's laws, and she's not allowing our granddaughters to come to us. This
See,
is even sickening to us.
Right. That is all happening because we all think that we are this particular body only. Is your daughter-in-law, or your daughter-in-law must be thinking that I am this body and these children are my children. The reality is they may be under her care at this moment, but we are all children of Krishna. Your son, your son's children, and you yourself, and your wife, and your daughter-in-law, and myself, and everybody of us, children of Krishna. This is what we need to understand. This, the two things here we need to understand. One is your daughter-in-law. People like, situation in your daughter-in-law situation, who is thinking that, "No, these are my children, I don't want them to go anywhere. Not even to the grandparents." And from your situation also, you need to think that, I am so much attached to these grandchildren, but really is, myself and my grandchildren belongs to Krishna. That understanding, it's very difficult in a current situation to comprehend it. I can understand that, but you need to develop that consciousness so that we can realize the reality of life. It's not just not just your son and your daughter-in-law and your daughter-in-law's children. Definitely, current situation, it is very difficult to even to take it up, right? It is very difficult
Yeah.
to even think of it, which is natural. In this material world.
No, as you were mentioning, Swamiji, we were getting some comfort seeing our granddaughters because the younger one looks just like our son.
Hmm. Hmm.
So even that privilege we are not getting now.
Right.
We only pray our son should correct her.
You should pray what? Your son should what?
Our son's soul should correct our daughter-in-law, make the grandchildren come to us.
Yeah. See, over a period of time, the grandchildren also will learn what is good and what is bad and what is right and what is not, because we're all individuals, right? So we have the capability to think as we grow. So that intelligence grows up, then they can discriminate, what is what, and they can. Even your daughter-in-law, I think that it's right now she may be equally shocked like you are in. Probably her shock may be in a different state. So probably she may not be able to think properly. So please give
No,
some consideration to
Swamiji,
that. Yeah.
her mother is a major venomous lady,
Hmm.
always giving her wrong ideas to follow.
Right. See, this is happens in every a family, right? Somebody is going to be against with somebody, and somebody don't like somebody, and this is happening eternally for all of us. It's a fact, it's not that, please don't take it as, I'm generalizing this statement and reducing the grief or something like, I'm underestimating your grief. It's not true. I totally understand. But the thing is, we increase our grief further when you bond ourselves to this situation. When you understand that, this is what is the material world is, then we come to the platform of, this is not really what we want. We want to be happy all the time. But see, the grief comes through. We never expect that, we never invite grief into our life, right? We don't want it to have a sorrow. We always wanted to be happy. But that is not the case. Then it's an opportunity for you. The way you need to think is, yes, definitely it is, very grave situation for you. But what you need to start thinking is, why it is happened, how it is happened. Is it happening to then, you start looking around, it is happening to everybody. So why is it happening? I wanted to be happy all the time, but I'm not happy. There are situations that comes into the life without any invitation, right? We don't invite these kind of situations, but they come into our life. It's a very, I'm very sad that, you have to go through this situation. I'm really sorry that, that is the reason when Uma Mataji called me, I immediately said, okay, let's start talking. She said, I said Telugu and Hindi, we speak on it. She mentioned that she cannot understand both languages. Then I said, okay, we'll start in English, talking in English.
So nice of you, Swamiji, for
No, it's
understanding
your,
our.
no, completely
Yeah.
understand your situation. And my request to you is, take this as an opportunity to understand your son and what happens to your son after he left you. Where is your son right now? He's not gone. He's not destroyed. This is a fact. And why is not destroyed and what exactly happened and what is my relation with the son? If you really wanted to understand, let us systematically go through the understanding of Bhagavad Gita. You take this as an opportunity to understand what happens to the soul, especially in case of your son. What could have been happened now? That explains, Bhagavad Gita explains the whole process. So when you understand that, you feel that, son is with you. It's ultimately, our
Yeah.
feeling that, so
That feeling we want to get, Swamiji.
yes. So you don't have to worry. Your son is not gone. It is not just, I'm trying to solace you and superficially talking about it. This is a verdict of Bhagavad Gita and words of Krishna. None of us will die. We think that, because we, under the impression of bodily concept of life, we think ourselves to be the body, then the body is perished. We'll think that, we lost everything. Reality is, when the body is lost, nothing is lost. the spirit soul, exists eternally. So your son is there. The only thing that, with our material eyes, you cannot see your son.
No. So,
So-
we couldn't perform the 10th to 13th day function because our Prohit said since the death is not a natural death, we are going to do it in June only
Okay.
after going to Chennai.
Okay. So you can
But
follow.
after we perform, does the soul leave us, or how is that, Swami?
See, the rituals are mentioned in the Vedic scriptures to solace the soul. Or the soul, see, whatever the feelings that you have, the soul continue to have those feelings after leaving this body also. Because the soul has two kinds of bodies. As for Bhagavad Gita very nicely explains is, one is the material body that which you see, that the body that you can
Right.
see. And another is a subtle body. Subtle body is mind, intelligence, and ego. And it doesn't go away from the soul. Soul is covered with an internal body called subtle body, which is mind, intelligence, and ego. And external body, which you can see with our eyes, this physical body. Death means basically the soul, along with his internal subtle body, living this physical body. So the thought process that comes from our mind, right? The mind, function of mind is feeling, thinking, and willing. So the mind, which is part of the subtle body, continues to think. The thought process actually takes the spirit soul to the next life, next body. So if that soul, the thought process is not cleansed, that mind is not cleansed, even living this physical body doesn't relieve you from that thought process.
Right.
So the way to purify your son's thought process is, Krishna gives, there is no way of doing it, physically the way we do it in a material world. But there is a spiritual process through which we can communicate to purify your son. Is it's mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. The way to purify our kin and kith is we taking up to devotional service. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, one who takes up my devotional service, I not only deliver that person, but also 7 generations, both directions. Mother side and father side, he says that, the 7 generations are going to be uplifted. I will take care of them. Because the spirit soul never dies. It just, transmigrated, or sometimes he left this body. So the spirit soul exists. Krishna knows where that spirit soul is. Being a father of all living entities, all spirit souls, he is taking care of everybody of us. Right now, your son is actually under protection of Krishna. We're all right now, everybody is under protection of Krishna. We don't realize that that's the reason we think that, I am the protector, I am the caretaker. That is the problem that we have. That is the reason for suffering. As long as I'm thinking that, I am the protector, when I feel that, hey, actually, we're not the protector, but we are assumed that we are protectors. Since we are not the protector in reality, then you can see that, these kind of situations occurs, then we realize that, there is no control of me. I can't control it. Then you think that, hey, I'm not able to control it. Then we fall down to the grief. But reality is, we never the controllers. We think that we're controllers. Krishna is the protector. Krishna is the controller. Your son has been protected by Krishna. Right now, he is under protection of Krishna. So you don't have to really worry about it. It's true that, you have lost experience of seeing him physically and having his association and etc., which is true, and which sounds like a non-replaceable. But yet it can be replaceable very easily when you understand what is his situation after he's left his body. And we can, purify, if any, the thought process that your son has, which led to this grave situation, that can be purified. Because, the mind still exists, right, as a subtle body. His thought process doesn't change after leaving this physical body. So the purification process which you perform through rituals, that purifies to some extent, but complete purification to the extent of deliverance from this cycle of birth and death, not to get another body and die again and take another body, another birth and die again, that is possible.
Right.
See, first of all, we need to think from what is feasible for me. So what best you can do to your son at this moment? The best thing that you can do to your son is you take up to the devotional service sincerely, then automatically that spirit soul being your son, he gets the grace of Krishna automatically. He gets purified. He gets, the ultimate goal of life. He achieves ultimate goal of life. You don't have to take another birth and die one more time. It's not only
Yeah.
him, all of us can do that. And especially in your case, how can you help your son? The only thing that we can do is we take up to Krishna consciousness, devotional service, by which Krishna says very clearly, if you become my devotee, I will take care of 7 generations of your family. So Hiranyakashipu was killed by Narasimhadev, and Prahlad was a small child standing there folded hands when his father was being killed by Supreme Lord. But in general, if you see from outside look, somebody came, some furious character, furious shaped person, or can't even call a person, Narasimha, half man and half lion. And this caricature came out and he's killing his father and he's standing there watching it. It sounds like, what kind of person is Prahlada? His father is being killed and he's not protecting, rather neither protesting. Prahlada knows the ultimate knowledge of spirit soul. So he did not protest it, but he prayed to Narasimhadev. After Hiranyakashipu was killed, Narasimhadev asked Prahlada, what can I give you? Ask for some boon. Then Prahlada says that, I don't need anything. I want your loving devotional service. And you bestowed me that. So I don't need anything. By asking me to ask for the boon, don't make it as a material. But Narasimhadev insists, no, it is not material. I still wanted to give you something. Then Prahlad says, if you wanted to give something, please deliver my father. He is a cruel, demoniac, but kindly deliver him. Then Narasimhadev says, you don't have to ask for that. I already delivered him because you are my pure devotee. Since you are my devotee and this living entity, whom you call it as your father, he has a relation with you, then I delivered him, though he is demoniac. So your son is a normal individual, right? So if you take the devotional service into your life, that's the best thing that you can do to your son. It's a very scientific approach to help the soul that is left his or her body. When the soul left the body, the way that kin and kith can help that soul is they taking up to the devotional service. Krishna assures that if you really love your son, really, the way to help him is you taking up to the devotional service. Krishna assures that if somebody takes a devotional service, their kin and kith is taken care of. Whatever their situation is, Krishna takes care of. It's very, very. How long ago it happened?
Sorry, Guruji. Kindly expand devotional service.
Very nice.
How to do?
Very simple. In the age of Kali, the taking of the devotional service is just Shravana Kirtana, Smarana Vandana. Shravana Kirtana means every day hearing Srimad Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam about Krishna and the God, and following the basic principles of chanting the holy name, chanting the name of God, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Chanting of this name and hearing about Krishna, and whatever you eat only Krishna Prasad. Krishna Prasad means, whatever you eat, offer it to Krishna as bhoga and take that prasad only. Don't eat anything outside or inside which is not offered to Krishna. You should not honor it. Only take whatever is offered to Krishna as a prasad and chant the name of the God, Krishna, and hear about him every day. That's all we need to do. Nothing more. It's not too difficult. To become devotee is not too difficult. You don't have to give up whatever you are doing right now. If you are a homemaker, continue to do that. If you are working somewhere, continue to do that. Whatever work you are doing, you're a professor, you are a job holder, or whatever profession you are in, continue to do that. But just add these three things to your life, then then you can please Krishna, you can engage yourself in devotional service. Srila Prabhupada explains, Srila Prabhupada explains that, how to take up to the devotional service. Very simple. In Kali Yuga, age of Kali, taking up the devotional service is chanting of the holy name. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Eva Kevalam, Kalyo Nasteva, 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 Gatirenyada. Yajna Sankirtan Praya. In the age of Kali, the best way of performing Yajna is Sankirtana. By doing that, we are giving a pleasure to Krishna. Devotional service means doing things that gives pleasure to Krishna. And Krishna says, clearly in Bhagavad Gita, what gives pleasure to him. Krishna asks all of us to surrender to him. What is a surrendering means? Do I have to give up what I am doing? If I'm doing a job, do I have to give up and go to a forest and sit under a tree and do something special? No, that is not possible in the age of Kali. The way to do that is, just accept advice of Krishna that is communicated. He himself appeared as a Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Kali Yuga, and he explained how to execute the devotional service by executing by himself. He executed devotional service and shown to the world how to take up his instruction in previous age. That means, we have to take up to these three processes: chanting of the holy name, hearing about Krishna every day, and then taking only Krishna Prasadam. That means offer to Krishna food. You should take food which is offered to Krishna only. That is all you need to do. Automatically, rest of the things will fall in place.
Yes, Guruji, I have one more clarification. It may look very childish or silly to you.
No.
Our son, he talked to his mother the day he left us. He has asked for me. Before I could come, he's gone.
Right.
I was wondering what he wanted to tell me.
Probably he wanted to thank you for giving his life and so far whatever. See, the parents do a lot of things to children, right? To come up to what stage they are. He may wanted to apologize you, but he is not able to serve you. And he may wanted to thank you for whatever the life you have given. So usually the end of life, if in that situation also, why is called his mother probably? What did he say, Mataji, to you?
He told me that he is hearing that ringing noise continuously and he couldn't sleep even for 3 hours the night. And then he asked for his father. He had gone out. By the time he came and called him back, no response.
See, this is, sometimes what happens is a second, if somebody can talk to them at that moment and divert their attention from that activity, probably that goes away from the mind. It's a split second activity that the people think like that and just get into the action, right? Somebody is there and says that, hey, this is not the right way, then they start thinking about it. Majority of the times, it's a scientific study as well, that when that person is diverted, somebody is solacing, saying that, hey, this is not going to be the solution, and that kind of a support quickly makes us to think about, okay, I don't have to do this, right? So unfortunate thing that it has happened to you already. We cannot, get his body back, but we can help him wherever he is right now through our actions. There is no physically that we do anything, but through spiritual process, because he means what? He is a spirit soul. The body is gone, his body is gone, but he exists eternally. So the way to help him is, we taking up to Krishna consciousness, because that is the only control we have. So not to worry, because see, I wouldn't say that, maybe saying that, but that worry I can understand. But the thing is, when you take up to this process, you will understand that, how you are helping your son. Though he is not in front of you, physically you cannot see him, but still you can help him.
Yeah, yes, Guruji, we want to at least see our grandchildren with us, so that that physical pleasure of seeing our son through them, it given to us. We'll pray to Krishna for that.
Definitely. Please take up to this process of chanting the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is the mantra, chanting of the holy name of the Krishna. Please take up this process.
Yes.
Do you remember that? Can you both repeat it?
I was chanting this before my son's death daily 12 times.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
I'll request
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Rama
Rama, Hare Hare.
So we all pray
Yes, Guruji,
for
beautiful.
your son. We all pray for your son. And the best method is, doing a best service to your son is you taking up the devotional service. I request all the devotees assembled here, kindly unmute yourself and, together let's chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, so that Uma Mataji and Prabhuji take up to Krishna consciousness, and Chandrasekhar Prabhu takes up to Krishna consciousness, and consequently his son will get benefit out of it. Let's all chant 3 times Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama
Hare,
Rama,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare.
Rama, Rama,
Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare.
What is
Thank
your
you.
son's name, Prabhu?
Prashant.
Prashant is your son's. What do you do, Prabhuji? Chandrasekhar Prabhu?
I'm a chemical engineer.
Okay.
I was working as a director in a company in Chennai.
You're still working or you're retired?
I'm having consultancy now. I'm 72 now. I do my consultancy services.
Okay. That's at Chennai.
Chennai, yes.
Okay.
Yes, good.
Okay. Uma Mataji, you also work?
I'm
or
a
you are-
housewife.
you are a
No,
housewife. Okay. How many children you have? Daughter and son?
daughter and son, both of them are where son also, daughter is living in Seattle.
Okay, right. Both son and daughter, both
We-
lives in Seattle, is it?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, just 10 minutes away from each other. And we both in Chennai. He
You both
passed
live in-
away on December 5th.
Okay, December 5th. It's more than 2 months now. 2 months and 10
Yes.
days.
Yeah, early morning, 5:36, Guruji.
What did he do? He studied something and is an engineer or?
Yeah, he is basically a computer science engineer from Chennai, and then he did his master's in Ohio University, Columbus.
Very nice. Okay.
Then he got selected by Microsoft in the campus interview, Last 17 years he has been with Microsoft, and he was holding the position of principal engineering manager. He got 4 promotions in a short time.
Very nice. How old is your son?
38.
38 years. Okay. I can completely understand at your age, son of 38 years, losing it. It's a very, very difficult to comprehend. I can completely understand your situation. I pray to God that you get solace. The best way to getting a solace is kindly associate with us and give your association and associate with the Vaishnavas and take up to this process, and gradually you will get relieved from this pain. And because this relief is not superficial, this relief is coming within a very strong spiritual association and spiritual understanding. So it's a lasting impression not only for you, but it helps your son in a great way. You could not have helped, whatever you have given in the materially, make him educated and got married and etc., settle in life materially. That is all gone in a second. But what you are going to give is going to be a permanent betterment to your son. The real benefit.
He was such a noble soul, Swamiji.
Yeah, definitely.
Though we had suggested few times that get rid of this his wife.
And everything. Yeah.
He was not keen because of this daughters.
Right.
Otherwise, we would have held him today with us.
How old are the daughters? The both of them are daughters?
Yeah, both are. They are 10 and 6 now.
10
Swamiji.
Okay.
Kindly pray for them also, Swamiji.
Definitely, Mataji. Definitely. See, we all can pray, but your actually impact is you taking up to the devotional service. It's not too difficult. Just, come and attend and start, chanting when you get a chance. Continue to do that. Over a period of time, you will see that, how it is going to help you. And it scientifically helps your son. Our prayers definitely help. But you can scientifically help your son is, you taking up to the devotional service. It is mentioned in scriptures.
We will definitely do that. We want him to be happy wherever he is.
Absolutely. That's the best way that, we can help him in this situation is we taking up to this. This is a very scientific and Vedic injunction. Krishna assures that. So we don't have to worry about him. Of course, we are going to have that, separation, feeling of separation is going to be there. So many years have been, in association, and he has been brought up by you, and the strong bondage is there. But its best way to help them is we taking up to this Krishna consciousness. So
We'll definitely do that.
Yeah.
We'll definitely do that.
So we'll continue to have this session every day, and you start, reading the Bhagavad Gita in English, and try to understand what is your son's position, how that spirit soul, what is the spirit soul, and what is the difference between having a physical body, not having a physical body, and all that is, very elaborately explained. And that, actually gives a strong strength and a conviction for us to adopt to the process, which is going to be beneficial for your son.
Definitely. We'll do that, Swamiji. We'll do that.
Very nice. Don't worry.
Thank you very much for all your advice and the prayers of the group.
Yeah. Both of you.
Tomorrow, same time, Swamiji.
Yes, Mataji. Same time we'll gather again for half an hour, 5 minutes, and then you can discuss and disperse. You take up this, you already said that, you're taking up the process of chanting the holy name, Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And Chandrasekhar Prabhu, you also try to start doing that, at least,
No, we'll definitely do that.
Yeah.
We'll definitely do that. We want his soul to rest in peace. We want him to be happy anywhere he is.
Yes. Very nice. We all pray for.
Thanks a lot, Swamiji.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Jagat
Guru. Thank you.
Jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Good night, Swamiji.
Good night. Hari Bol. Dandat Mataji and Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.